Hi, I'm Christian X and McGhee, and this is BMI's Know Them Now video series. I am a film composer and multi-instrumentalist based in New York City. Did growing up in St. Louis, Missouri contribute to your passion for jazz music? Totally. St. Louis just has a rich history of amazing jazz musicians. Miles Davis is from there, Clark Terry is from there, David Sanborn is from St. Louis. And there's a lot of support in the arts from donors and a lot of free jazz education for kids coming up. I was a part of this program called Jazz U, which is run through Jazz at the Bistro, or also known as the Harold and Dorothy Stewart Center for Jazz, which gives free education for young jazz students coming up. And I would join that program in the 7th grade. And so we would have a weekly rehearsal, and then we would also have a concert pretty much every winter and then every May. And so I did that program for 6 years. So definitely in that program, my love for jazz blossomed and flourished. Okay, next question is, tell us about your songwriting process. My process is very experimentative. So sometimes I could start with just the melody, and then I'll try to add harmony underneath it that kind of harmonizes the top note, or if there's like a common tone with it, and then I'll add drums and bass and other things like that. Or it just really just kind of varies based on the instrumentation. What I also do sometimes is you could start with the chords, you could start with the drum groove, start with the bass groove. But lately what I've been doing is trying to mess with things as audio and like sampling. Even though there will be MIDI in there, what I like to do is kind of like chop things up and move it around and really kind of experiment with the sounds. Like, so I'm thinking more of like a producer. So yeah, chopping things up, moving it around, adding a bunch of different effects, and that way, through this process, I can start to create music that doesn't sound like my other music. So really trying to make each piece of music that I create really unique, so that there's not one piece that sounds like another piece. So my favorite film that I've scored to date is called Twin Sparks. I just scored it a couple months ago. It's an animated film. The story is about this girl kind of alone in the woods, and this fire character kind of pops out of her and kind of gets upset, and then they run through the forest, and the girl chases after her, and they have this big old fight. And then at the end, they kind of come together and become like one being again. And so the reason why I love this is just because the animation is just amazingly done. Story's like really good, and also I grew up watching like all the Pixar movies, like Toy Story, with the Randy Newman score. Yeah, so just all those movies, I just love really great animation, really great storytelling. I would also say that there's some like special Disney magic that happened in Toy Story and in some of those other Pixar movies. So I would love to kind of recreate that feeling or emotion in animated scores. Your music has been described as emotive, evocative, and cinematic. What do you hope listeners feel when listening to the music you compose? So I would hope that the listeners or the audience would feel my intent. So I hope that they would feel sad or scared or happy, and kind of be taken out of their everyday situation and kind of transported into the film or the project, or just kind of the ambiance of the soundscape. So if I wanted to create a sad emotion for a song, I would try to reverse engineer what that emotion would sound like. So I would think about what chords would make a person feel sad, what melody notes, what instrumentation, how would I mix it, right? So how would I mix it, how would I orchestrate it? So yeah, I would just say everything that I do musically and production wise goes towards that emotion. So if it's happy, that kind of has a certain thing. If there's like some like happy, sad, kind of mixed, complicated emotion, then the piece would reflect that. So everything everything follows from the emotion for me when I score, and usually when I compose. What is the best musical advice you have ever received, and who gave it to you? Okay, I have to think on this. Okay, so I think the best musical advice I received was just to kind of double down and hone in on my craft, to keep practice more, compose more, put in more hours, put in more time. So I was talking to Winter Marcellus, and I was asking for advice on what does growth look like, for me. And what he was basically saying was to double down on the music first, because at the end of the day, that's what they're really going to hear and resonate with. So if you can kind of find your sound, find your voice, have this whole body of work that's just spectacular, that's what you're going to be known for. Like people are going to know you for your records. They're going to know you for your music and how your music made them feel. What is your relationship with BMI? So BMI is my performing rights organization, to where I register my tracks and everything. Also, I won the BMI Future Jazz Masters Award this year. I just wanted to say, BMI, thank you so much for having me. Thank you everyone for watching. For more info on me, you can check out my website, christianmcghee.com, and you can find me online on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook at Christian X Music. Thank you.